Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Womenpreneurs Radio Network. And it's time to make your brilliance bankable. That's the vision Brilliance catalyst, author, and speaker Tai Goodwin has for her clients. And I'm so excited to have her here on our show so that she can share with us and give us the tools that we need to make our brilliance bankable. Hello, Tai. How are you today?
Hi, Danette. I am fantastic. I'm so excited to talk with you and to speak with your audience.
Great. We're excited to have you here today. And, you know, we've been doing some research on you, and you make the statement, brand your brilliance. So many people that I've spoken to about you tell me that you are the one that can help us do just that. I love the fact that you use the words brilliance, because we are brilliant people, and it's important to brand that. But, Tai, you know, so many of us really don't have clarity or don't have understanding on actually how to really do that. So I'm really excited about having you here today, and I'd love to go ahead and ask you that question that I know it's lingering out there with our listening audience, and that is, what does it mean to actually brand your brilliance?
Oh, I love talking about this topic. Well, of course, that's my specialty, you know, but I see so many people when they're starting their business, they're really passionate, they have a lot of ideas, and when they hear the word brand, they think of the colors, they think of the words, they think of having to have a certain look, and a lot of times they try to emulate other people. Now, I'm all for learning from other people. I think that's important, but you said it in your opening. Each one of us is brilliant. And I find that we've got to learn to brand our own brilliance, take our own unique brilliance, our unique experiences and our expertise, and figure out a way to brand that with our messaging, with our products, with our programs, even in figuring out who we've been called to serve. That's what it means to brand your brilliance.
I love that you said figuring out who we're called to serve. I had a phone call a moment ago, actually a coaching session about 3 hours ago, and I had one of my clients to say, I'm struggling with my brand. I really don't want to sound like someone else, act like anyone else, because I'm not that person. I am who I am. But she was struggling with her brand. She said, I don't know those taglines, those words to use, those colors to use. And I backed her up. I said, let me ask you this question. If you were to ask someone else about you, what they thought about you, what would stand out most about you, what would they say? And so she started thinking and kind of just off the top of her head saying certain words. And I thought about it. I had this big smile on my face, and I said, you know, you really have to listen to today's broadcast, because I have the awesome Tai Goodwin on, and she's going to tell us how we can brand our brilliance. More so, help us branding the brilliance and turning it into that information product. So she's extremely excited about that. But I echo what you mentioned a moment ago. You know, so many people start the wrong way. We think about colors. We think about logos. You know, we don't understand. We simply don't understand. Now, Tai, with that being said, I did just mention that we're going to work on how to brand your brilliance with information products. Can you give us some examples of information products?
Oh, absolutely. So information products, or info products, another word that you might hear out there, it's all about turning what you know into a product or program you can sell. And so it's anything from an ebook to a webinar to a live training course to a checklist. I mean, there's over 40 different items or ways that you can package your expertise. So, you know, that extends the whole branding your brilliance. You got to have it in you first, right? You know, the woman you were talking about coaching earlier, you know, she's got to have the confidence to figure out her own language and her own words and use those words. You know, I chose the term bankable brilliance. You know, that fits exactly what I do, but it took me some soul searching and trusting my instinct to figure out the words that were going to represent who I am and what I want to do. So that's part of it. And then the other side of it is, now let's make it bankable by taking that and turning it into products that you can sell, whether it's online or from the stage if you're speaking at an event.
I absolutely love it, bankable brilliance, because it is what's inside of you. You're brilliant. You're creative. You took that chance to step out on faith and own and operate a business. So you do definitely, that's brilliance in itself, in my opinion. And to turn around and make that bankable, I just love that term, bankable brilliance.
Well, it's actually it's what I want to do for my clients. It's what I want to do for my clients as well. So many of them are brilliant, but they don't know how to make it bankable, and so they struggle in their business because they've got all this energy and fight around what they do, but they have no idea how to turn that into something that they can sell and market.
I tell you, that was one thing that I had to learn very quickly. I have to be honest, I didn't learn it in a quick way, but like you said, you had to do some soul searching. I was out there for quite some time in the service-based industry. And in that industry, I could not figure out how I could help those entrepreneurs, those people, coaches that coach other people, service-based people that serve others. How can I help them? Come up with products that they can use and, not rework someone else's, but dig deep within themselves and create their own, products and services. And I just, really, really, really wanted to kind of focus just for a small bit here on asking you, how can service-based entrepreneurs or solopreneurs in that case use information products to help their business because they're serving. They don't feel like they have a product in them.
Oh, well, everyone has a product in them is what I think. If you have knowledge, you have experience, you have expertise, there's always a way to package it. And fortunately, I've spent some time studying how to do that. Now, there are lots of people out there who have organically, figured out how to create products. Some of them are good. Some of them are not so good. I used to get really frustrated when I would hear people telling other people, hey, well, just take a whole bunch of blog posts and put them together in an ebook, and now you've got a product you can sell. Or just take your blog posts and now speak them, and now you've got an audio product. Well, that's part of it. What happens is people in that case, they tend to do a lot of data dumping, and so you end up with these really, really heavy content-based products, but people don't know how to make them workable so that people can transform from point A to point B, right? So I read a whole bunch of stuff, but I have no idea what to do with it is what would happen. So when I help people with info products, it's really teaching them how to take what you know and break it into manageable pieces that your audience can digest and give it to them in a way that lets them, transform from, wherever they are right now to where they want to be. So, for example, you might have, I'm doing a course right now on how to create an e-course. And it's an email course with a Facebook group. So I've taken my knowledge about how to create email courses and packaged it in a way where I can now use that online to show other people how to do the same thing. So I package my information as an e-course. I've also created e-books. I've created video courses. I've created membership sites. I've used all those different ways to package what I know into a product I could sell and use to help my audience transform from A to B.
I really love the fact that you mentioned, if we want to give them a name or, some of us call ourselves gurus or they've just been, popular people that have been out there for years that have shared and given us what I consider, and it sounds like you are the same, not so good advice on just taking, your data from blog posts, even from radio shows. You have to watch it sometimes. You have to be creative and make it feel, organic in a different way, in my opinion. Not just dump certain things on people, but not really guide them. I believe in that guidance because that's what helps us to move forward. And so I appreciate you for doing that and taking that time to not only give them the information, but you help them, you guide them through the process. You help pull out, not telling them what to do, but you're pulling out to help them move forward. And that's real deal. I am one that can't stand investing my money, and I did get very frustrated, such as yourself. After purchasing program after program, I thought it was going to be the best thing since sliced bread, since I was buying it from top-notch people, I thought. But they were just kind of telling us, but not telling us how.
Mm-hmm.
Not telling you how to do it.
Well, there's an art to teaching. And then not everything can be taught either. One of the things that I have out there is called the 8 Paths of Transformation. It's something that's out there on SlideShare, and it's just a graphic that talks about the 8 different ways that we can use content to help people transform. And it's different if you are using a motivational speech, right? We've got lots of motivational speakers, but motivational speakers aren't teachers, and all teachers aren't coaches. And then there are some times when you can't even coach people on things. You need them to be certified. For example, I wouldn't want somebody to operate on me who had only gotten their training from YouTube videos, right? They've got to have some practice, right? I want them to have some certification. But there are 8 different paths of transformation that you want to think about when you're designing your product, so that it's not just, well, I read a book and got some information. No, if they need practice, that's, training where they're getting practice over and over again so they can apply it to different situations. Now, I'm talking a lot of technical things here, but that's what I studied in that. I was a education major in undergrad. I have a master's degree in education, so I've studied instructional design not just for kids, but for adult learners as well. So when I'm sharing this information and knowledge with people, it's not just an organic thing that I picked up in a book. It really is something that I studied, and I spent 18 years in corporate America designing training and learning programs. I worked in IT companies. I worked for Barnes & Noble. So I've got some really good experience, practical experience, designing learning that really works.
Well, Tai, tell me more about how info products can be used to generate that thing that we all know we need, and that's additional streams of income.
Mm-hmm. That's one of my favorite topics. Especially working with lots of coaches and consultants and, holistic practitioners who do a lot of one-on-one work. And we can get really good at finding clients, and we're doing so much one-on-one work that we get burnt out. And the only way to increase our income becomes, well, you either have to find more hours in the day, and I haven't found that yet, or you've got to charge a whole lot more. And there is a place where you kind of reach your breaking point when it comes to price, right? But if you have additional products to sell, where people that either can't afford to work with you privately, they can work with your content in a product. Or let's say you've got a full client load already. You can create a course where you can now serve 25 people in one setting, or maybe put a retreat together with workshops where you can now serve 50 people in 3 days instead of trying to cram them all into your 6-month private coaching practice, right? So that's additional streams of income that you're able to generate. And, the best way to do that sometimes is making it passive, where you've created a product that you can sell over and over and over again. And that means while you're sleeping, while you're on vacation in Aruba, while you're picking your kids up from school, someone can be buying your product.
I love that. I love that. Now, Tai.
Yeah.
I mentioned a moment ago, the fact that, and you mentioned as well that we run into people quite often that tell you all you need to do is take your blog post and other different things and just turn it into something. Now, I don't want the listeners to confuse the fact that we're not encouraging you to repurpose, but creativity is a must. It is a must, and to be able to turn that creativity into something that would cause that, for me, my laptop, I can have that sound, that cha-ching noise that'll come up when someone pays or they, click on something, they purchase something from me. I'm not speaking to them right now. I'm on vacation, but yet these are still flowing in. That's a wonderful feeling. It's an awesome feeling. Now, we know that you're an expert and I'm an expert, but we're going to get that question from our newbies and, to be quite honest, some of the people that have been in business a little while or a little longer than some but are not quite sure, what to do and how to brand that brilliance that we're talking about and turn it into info products. Is there a certain level of expertise that you need to actually create an info product?
Well, the base answer for that, then, is that you have to know more than the people you're trying to help.
Okay.
All right. That's the base answer. You want to be a little bit ahead of the game. There are people out there that are saying, well, just research a topic and then put together a product. And again, research is just information. So if the only level of product development you want to be at is just providing people with information, then you can go ahead and do that and just research it. The best information products, though, come because you have experience and expertise in an area. So I don't recommend just, researching stuff and throwing it together. Now, you can do some fantastic interviews, and that's great, but that's still going to be information. It doesn't help people transform. And here's what I mean by that. The course that I'm running right now, that 1515 e-course, now I can give them step-by-step instructions, and I do. In the emails, they get instructions on, what to do. So, for example, one of the lessons was about creating a sales funnel, so they could figure out where their e-course was going to fit in that sales funnel. So now I can give you 5 or 6 steps to do that. But what happens when people have a question and they want to know, well, is this a right sales funnel? Am I missing something? If you don't have the practical experience and expertise, you can't answer those questions for people. And I think that's what gets really frustrated when people invest in these high, level products that are just information. When I have a question or I reach a tough patch and I don't understand it, if all you've done is research and you have no practical experience, you can't help me solve a problem.
I agree with you on that, because that's a big issue. We need you. When I hire you or if I work with someone, the first thing they think about, and come on, it's the thing we think about, what's in it for me? I mean, I just purchased this product, but if I really need to speak to you, if I need to see some practical steps, that I need to take, I choose to lay it out a certain way as well. I like to educate you on products, talk about the marketing language and so forth. But when we get into using terminology like target audience, target marketing, marketing language and so forth, you call it, that bankable brilliance, understanding certain key elements. Right. I break it down and show them. I take them in the most elementary type terms. It should be something that a 12-year-old can comprehend. That way they know, and it amazes me quite often when I speak with people, and then that light bulb comes on. It's like, oh, wow, okay, now I have clarity. I understand exactly what you're saying. So they do. People like that hands-on approach, even or that where they feel like they're listening to you, like you're right in their ear, like they can touch your hand or your arm and tap you on your shoulder when they're reading a product, that info product. It needs to speak to them. It needs to guide and direct them.
And it also needs to ask the right questions, and that's, as a coach, I think as coaches we develop that unique way of, listening to people and tapping into their questions. And part of that is really understanding who your audience is, which is another huge thing that I work on with a lot of clients, is they want to create these products. And when our first question is, well, who are you, making this product for? And they have like 50 people that they want to make the product for. They want to make it for everybody who does this. And, you can't address everything in one book for everybody. We don't even use encyclopedias anymore, right? That approach. And so you never want to take that approach to designing your products and programs. It really has to be to a specific audience. The way that you talk about marketing to a real estate agent has got to be different than the way you talk about it to a holistic practitioner. And then it's got to be different than somebody who's going to be marketing to corporate executives trying to get into Fortune 500 companies. They can't use the same online marketing strategies as somebody who's selling, ebooks on Amazon. All right, so you have to be really specific in who your audience is in order to know the questions to ask and the content to give them, and even the context to design your products in.
Wow, love it, love it. Now, I know the next thought pattern or question that most would have in their head is, you guys are telling me that I need to create this, making sure that I understand the content, understand who my client or my target audience is and so forth, but how am I going to do this? Are there any tools, or what are your favorite tools that you use for creating information or info products?
I have a bunch of favorite tools, but I'll start with the easiest ones, and I'll move on to some others. I love using Microsoft Word, and I love using Microsoft PowerPoint, but not in the way most people think. So one of the free offers I have at my site is a book called Finding Your Brilliance Zone, and it looks really cool, and people are saying, oh, what did you use? You know what I did, Danette? I used PowerPoint. I created the book in PowerPoint as a PDF because it gives you that horizontal layout, and I've got one side with, graphics and two columns with content when it needs to be, but it makes it a lot easier to read. So I didn't have to use anything fancy. I just used PowerPoint and turned it into a PDF to create a book or an ebook that people could then download from my site. So Word and PowerPoint are always my two favorite places to start. And then you've got the audio tools, which I absolutely love, like Audacity, which is a free audio recorder that you can use. Another one of my favorite ones, and I know you've used this too, is Audio Acrobat, because it lets you, record your audio and then even gives you a player. And it even lets you do video as well. And speaking of video, one of my favorite video tools is Camtasia. And they have a Mac version and a PC version. And it's great for screen grabs and short things. They have another tool as well called Snagit, which is really great for shorter screen grabs. You can, take a whole screenshot of your entire screen. So those are some of the tools that I use quite heavily. And I'll give you one more. And this one is called Box Shot King. This is my secret weapon to net, so I'm sharing this with your audience. But all the covers that you see on my site, the CDs, the graphics for my products, I created them myself. And I use Box Shot King, because Box Shot King lets you create 3D covers, everything from an ebook cover to a CD and a CD cover, even to putting it on a Mac, screen, and making it look like it's, coming alive on the screen. So I use Box Shot King. That's one of my favorite tools to use. Now, if you're not graphically inclined at all, you can always go to Fiverr and pay somebody $5 to create a 3D cover for you. But if you're like me and you like to be in control of what your colors look like and you like to own it, then you want to use something like Box Shot King.
Now, are you saying Box Shot King or Vox Shot King?
Box, B as in boy, O-X.
Okay, great. No, I am a proud user of Fiverr. I enjoyed them, and I've never heard of Box Shot King. I'm definitely going to go out there. I'm technically inclined enough to go out and play with it, but of course, as you mentioned, if you don't have the time, Fiverr is one of your best friends, and all of those other platforms or application software that you mentioned are they're self-explanatory. You can also find some tutorials out there on YouTube if you need a little help with them. I enjoy using most of those, and Microsoft Word is the best, straightforward, and if we want to talk about saving money, it is the most inexpensive way to start and convert that right on into that PDF and move forward. So thanks so much for sharing some of your favorites. Now we've created everything. We're ready to go. We've used some of the resources and tools that you mentioned earlier. What are some of the ways that you recommend we promote our products?
I have favorite ways that I work with my clients to help them promote their products in that. The first one is you've got to grow an email list. People will say email marketing is dead, and that's simply not true. If you take a look at any of the statistics out there about what's been happening with email marketing, it's working, and that's why you see more companies and businesses investing in it. And it's working for a couple of reasons. Number one, people have started segmenting their list, so they're not sending spam to people. They're sending really good content to people that want it, number one. And number two, people are now on their phones checking their messages. So you want to have mobile-friendly messages as well. And then tools like GetResponse, which is my favorite email service. Aweber is another one out there. MailChimp is another one that's familiar. But those tools make it really easy for you to track what people are opening, what they're clicking on, so that you can know what they're interested in. So building a solid email list is one of the best things you can do, because there's nothing like having a waiting audience of people who can't wait to get the information about your next product and offering. So that's number one. Number two is you want to have a good online presence. And your online presence, you need to have testimonials. You need to be connected to other people online. When people do research on you, when they Google you, you need to come up on other people's websites, not just yours, right? Because you can see anything you want about yourself. But when you're connected to other people's websites, that's a great thing. And that's one of the reasons why I say testimonials, not just where people are giving a testimonial about you, but give a testimonial for someone else. So you might do this, Danette, and I do this too. When I go to somebody's site and they've got testimonials, I actually click the links of those people, or I will Google them to see what they do.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that the people on your site are real. And that's how I found some of my favorite sites, right? So when you give a testimonial for someone and make sure they use the link to your site, that's another way for you to get some visibility, right?
Yes, sure is.
And the third one is my favorite. It's social media. You've got to really build a good following on social media. And it doesn't mean you just have a whole bunch of people that like you but don't respond. So I'm such a big fan of building online communities of people, whether you've got a list on Twitter or you participate in Twitter chats, or I have Facebook groups, and that's where I really make some great connections with people. You want to have a tribe or a community of people that can, connect with you and that can even help you promote your products. That's a huge thing. So many people try to promote their products on their own, and they don't have a strong list. They don't have the time to build up a strong list. But you can always work with a partner and leverage each other's list and audiences if you're cross-promoting each other.
I love that word, leverage, because, come on, let's be honest. People that are starting new in business, they don't have a list. And some people that have been out there for a while may need to scrub their list. So it's very, very important to leverage, connect with people, JV or joint venture as we would call it, with others to make that process smooth sailing for you. Now, we're just talking on, and I want to make sure that I don't forget to address this one thing that kind of pulls it all together. Very quickly, give us some tips on how we should price our info products. That's a big one there.
Oh, this is a good one. Yeah, pricing your info products. This is where you want to have a really good sales funnel. I've had clients that try to create a product and they want to create this $1,500 product right out the gate when they've never gotten anybody on their list to even buy something at $29. Right? So you got to have a sales funnel that guides people through. So you always want to have a low or introductory level product that's priced under $97. Then you want to have a mid-level product, that's priced anywhere over $97 to maybe, $397, $497. And then you can even have a price higher than that. There are info products out there right now that are anywhere from, $1,000 to $2,500. And so you want to stay in those three tiers and make sure that you're giving people value for what you're offering. But never try to start with a really high-priced product if you have no history of people buying from you before. You have to really understand that sales process and understand why that sales funnel is so important so that you're guiding people from level to level as they begin to trust you, like you, and know you because they've had that first encounter with your introductory offer.
I agree so much with you on that, and thanks so much for breaking that down because, I've run into several people, so many people actually, that as soon as they start their business because they've either coached with someone or they've studied someone else's process, they think that they can just jump out there and start big, and no one knows them. No one trusts you. No one understands the fact that, you're in business and you just want to sell to them. They're looking for that wow factor, the why factor. I don't know you, so why would I want to pay you that much, to start out? Give me somewhere to test you, test that market, test who you are and your services.
Absolutely.
Tai, I don't want to hold you up much longer. I so appreciate you for coming out and sharing with us here on the Womenpreneurs Radio Network. Getting a little tongue-tied here today. I'd love for you to share with our audience more about you, where they could find you. Do you have any upcoming events, products, and so forth?
Oh, well, thank you for offering me this opportunity to let people know where they can find me. Tai Goodwin, you can Google me. You'll find me out there on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all over social media. It's one of my favorite places to hang out. I also have a website, TaiGoodwin.com, and you can find out about my blogs, my coaching, my classes, all that good stuff there. I am doing another group coaching program. It's starting in April, and this group coaching program is Profitable on Purpose. And so this is right before, if you're not sure you need to have an info product or you're not sure you're ready for one, this is right before that period, because we're going to get your sales funnel really clear. We're going to help you identify exactly who your audience is, what your niche is, have a really good sales funnel for all of the products you need to offer, and then talk about how you start to market people and get them into that funnel, because you can't really build a good info product and have it be sellable if you don't have that foundation first. And I want all my clients to not just be profitable, but I want them to be profitable on purpose.
I'm excited about that. Did you mention the date that it will start, or where we could actually go and sign up? Is it right there on the top, the side, or where should we look on your website to do that?
Yep, it'll be on the website, but they can also go to profitableonpurpose.com. I couldn't believe I was able to get that domain name, right? Profitableonpurpose.com. They can go to that website, and it's going to be starting the week of April 14th.
Right. I'm excited about that. I'll definitely be checking that out and look at my schedule to make sure that I can actually get in and get involved on that. I tell you, constantly positioning yourself to grow in business is a must. And so that means we all need to continue to learn and actually pay something into our business, actually put that stamp of approval on it. Look for people like yourself and myself and other coaches to help us move forward. And with that being said, I did not mention to you earlier also how much I really appreciate your other title that you use, being the transformation coach. Not that typical person. You are someone that helps us to transform ourselves and take ourselves to that next level. Thank you so much for your creativity and your choice of words that you use. I mean, that's helpful. You know that? It helps others to look at different ways that they could actually be creative and not just that traditional way. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for saying that, Danette. It's been an absolute pleasure to have this conversation. I'm excited for what you're doing for women entrepreneurs, and I look forward to supporting you and helping you in any way that I can, and your listeners too.
Great. I'm excited about that because we are going to have you back on our show. Now, for those of you that would like to know more about me, my name is Danette Moss, and I'm your host here of the awesome radio show, the Womenpreneurs Radio Network. And I can be found over at Let's Talk Strategies, and I can also be found over at the Association for Women Entrepreneurs. Over at AWE, we work to empower women entrepreneurs worldwide so they can overcome those hurdles that are preventing them from achieving optimum success. Now, we use proven strategies for success derived from in-depth discussions, such as the one that we're having here with the awesome Tai Goodwin. Now, we also interview other highly successful people who will divulge exactly what they did in order to advance their careers in business. Now, in essence, as a member there, you'll get straightforward, guaranteed success strategies directly from the desk and the mouths of CEOs. Now, as Reggie Reed, an astute business strategist in the IT industry, put it best when he said, if you want to learn how to jump out of an airplane, would you rather read a book written by someone who just talks about the technique of skydiving? Or would you rather learn from a professional who has had hundreds of successful jumps? Well, over here at AWE, we provide that for you, and I'm looking forward to having you guys in our community. So check our website out, the Association for Women Entrepreneurs.com, and we are actually running a special over there right now as we speak. We have a charter membership where you can actually get involved and join us, our diamond level at our platinum level price. Our diamond level is normally $49.97. We're actually welcoming new memberships and accepting new memberships for that $29.97, and we're excited to have you over there in our community. Well, for now, Tai, thank you so much for stopping by here today on our radio network, and I'm hoping to hear from you soon and have you back on our show.
Well, thank you again, Danette, and I would love to be back.
Great. Take care for now. Make it a productive day. Take care now.